Hey everyone, welcome back to City Skylines 2. We are back here in Sonder County, more specifically the town of Oxbow. I'm back here with another time lapse because again, I did a lot in this episode. But let me know what you guys think about the time lapses down in the comment section below because I do genuinely want to hear your guys' feedback. One thing that I did start doing this episode was priming for development. Now, I discovered that, of course, with a growing population, being that by the end of this video, I'm pretty sure I had about 700 people in the town. That's quite a bit of people, and by then you should have a school, and that's exactly what I had. Now, here was me trying to find an intersection. I was planning on having 3 interchanges for the town of Oxbow. The reason for this is to sort of minimize traffic, because I feel like in City Skylines 2 there's a bit of an issue with it being super car dependent, so I wanted to try and minimize that by adding in a lot of car access. I will be changing this eventually, but not right now because I don't think that it's needed since Sonder County is so low in population. And I decided that, you know what, because this is small town America, I figured that it would only make sense, and because it's funny, to add in an interchange that just does not make sense. It has 2 off ramps and it has street lights right in the middle. I figured that that would be literally perfect because it would just add in some character to the town. It would also make people just think, why? Why would you add that, you know? It was sort of intentional for it to be bad, literally just because I kind of just, I wanted some character, right? And I ended up deleting this firehouse. You're gonna see me regret it later on because I forgot to add it back. And I was experimenting with some of the assets for the cemetery, and I discovered that there was a temple asset. Now this temple asset sort of looks like a church. So I decided to take the liberty of developing a nice church area for the town of Oxbow. Now, I figured that this would be a good idea to add in because really in small towns, whether it's American, European, Asian, it doesn't even matter what type of town it is, usually most of them are built off of religion. And I wanted to really encapsulate that by having this be the centerpiece of the town. It would have a large amount of parking, a large building, and it would also have a crematorium installed into it. And I really wanted to add that in. So, that's exactly what I did. I added it in, I made sure it looked more concrete-y, not like all green and like one with nature because, again, small town America, right? I had to encapsulate that in this. I intended to create a small park area right next to it, as you can see. I ended up giving up later because I realized that it kind of looked weird to have mowed grass right next to a bunch of foliage. So I removed that, and then I just kept working on the actual parking area. I wanted it to just look sort of like friendly, you know, but also make it look like it was built like 80 years ago. A big issue that I have with the City Skylines 2 is the fact that a lot of the buildings look like plastic, and it kind of sucks that I have to go in with a stamp or a surface tool to make everything look dirty and grimy, because it honestly just makes my life really difficult. Because everything just looks new in the game. I wouldn't want this church to look brand new. I would want it to look like super old, you know, like built in the 1800s or something like that, you know, like that type of old. But unfortunately, we don't get stuff like that because I don't really know. I'm sure sometime in the future we will. I'm not being too picky right now. I'm just waiting patiently. So another thing that I decided to do was, again, just add in a couple of little cracks, a couple sidewalks here and there. I also made sure to remove a lot of the lights on the medium parking lot. As good as the assets for the medium parking lot are, I hate the giant stadium lights that they have on the thing. Again, some of these parking lots just do not make sense. Like, after the detailers patch, they sort of did, but they also sort of didn't. I just kind of wish that, you know, like, if Better Bulldozer was in like the base game, then I'd be happy, but I know I won't get that. Right, so anyways, here was me going in and just adding in some potholes, adding in some cracks. Again, just making the place look nice and make it look like it was used, and it has been used for many years. I went around adding in some foliage, since churches tend to have foliage on the outside. My town, for example, I can't show any pictures because my phone won't connect to my computer, but if I ever do get it figured out, I'll show you guys. But my church has a lot of foliage on the outside. It also has a lot of cracks on the sidewalk and a lot of cracks on the parking lot because that's just kind of how it is. And then this was me sort of looking at a reference. So obviously you guys can't see it, but this was me looking at a reference for a corner store, which is the next piece of the town of Oxbow that I wanted to have. Some sort of corner store. Now the funny thing is about corner stores is that I'm usually really good with creating them when it's at like a 55-degree angle, or even a 75-degree angle is fine. Heck, even an 80 will work for me. But once it gets into a 90-degree angle, so literally just an actual corner piece, that's when my knowledge of how to actually create one is sort of limited. You see, the thing is that I come from City Skylines 1, where you can make custom assets and you can do all this stuff. Again, I'm not trying to rip on City Skylines 2. I think it's great. It's just the fact is, we need those custom assets very soon, because you can see me fidgeting, trying to get it to work, but with the way that the buildings were clipping, I mean, I could have gotten it to work if I really, really tried, but we don't have textures or anything. It's not like I could edit any of the textures or edit any of the layers of the buildings. All I can do is just add and remove stuff using the Better Bulldozer mod. That's really all I can do. I eventually did kind of get it, but I realized that it would take me literally an hour in real life to do for just this one sample, and I realized that it probably wouldn't be worth it considering how big Sonder County is going to be. Again, I'm trying to think of the future, and that's when I discovered the food service station. I really like the look of this building. It looked a little retro, but also not too retro. It kind of had that 80s arcade style feel, and I kind of wanted to really encapsulate that by removing a lot of the foliage, again, removing the stuff that made it look modern, and then I removed a lot of the grass, some of the advertisement billboards, so it didn't look all flashy and urban-esque, more suburban. I just squared it out because I wanted this building to sort of look like it has always been here since the 70s, you know, like it's a fresh building, and it's used for everything. It can be used for warehouses and stuff, and in this case, it's used as a burger restaurant, but that's okay. And then I figured out that my stamps finally started to work. I know last episode they didn't work at all, and I had to restart the game, restart my computer even a couple times because City Skylines 2 just was not cooperating. But now it does, and I'm able to add in all the dirt, grime, and black mold that I want all over the place, and I think it looks incredible. Adding in some dirt. I love me some dirt and grime on the sidewalks. But the next part that I really liked was this. I used the small parking lot, and I sort of created a parking lot for this small building, and then I just created a nice row of commercial buildings. My original plan was actually to add in some industrial buildings behind it, like just some small warehouses, but I figured that wouldn't be necessary since they already have garages. And then again, making sure that all of the rear is the same color, except for this one building, since I kind of wanted it to be, again, another showpiece, like another big business, something like that, like the local, hip business in town for, thrift clothes or something like that. I don't know. It's right by the church, so you could probably put it up to your imagination about what it should be. And then this part was me just going in, make sure everything was nice and good, and then I added in the crematorium right across from the church. Now, unfortunately, I can't edit the brick texture. I really wish I could, because I'd make it all gray. The crematorium, or funeral home rather, in my town is gray and white, and it looks really, really nice. And it also has a gold trim on it. It doesn't look fancy for a funeral home, but it definitely does look on the higher end. But yeah, so I couldn't get rid of these yellow markings. Again, a lot of these buildings in City Skylines 2 look a little clunky. They look too urban. And while City Skylines 2 advertises itself as a small city builder, you can build small cities, yeah, that's true, but it also really pushes you to build big, because it doesn't have, true small school. Example, a school should be larger than, 3 blocks. A small school. And it doesn't even house that many people. It's just because back then people didn't really conserve space. This is another custom area that I created with the row homes. Again, plop the Grobles. And I didn't even intentionally do this. That's the thing with this parking lot. I didn't even intentionally want it to be right there. But then I was just like, oh, it fits. So then I just added it. I placed around with some of the node tools, just again made it look nice. And added in a small neighborhood, which I will then use eminent domain and, we'll take a mulligan on it in a while. City Planner Plays reference, but that's not me. I don't take mulligans unless if I really need to. So I added in just some more buildings again, just to get our population up, because I realized that this town is probably going to be really super not dense. So I really wanted to try and prevent some of that. Probably thinking, well, Brett, why don't you just add in some row homes? No, I can't. You'll find out why I can't. It's because, again, this is sort of based off of my own hometown. Just a little bit with some of how the neighborhoods are structured. Like, this is kind of how my neighborhood is structured in real life, the neighborhood I live in. And then I tried to add in these cul-de-sacs right here, and then I realized that it looks like poopy, so then I deleted it. I think. Did I? Yes, I did. Again, I'm still new to all this whole voiceover thing, so just let me know if I'm good at it. And then I added in this little, again, another crescent shape, because I sort of wanted to match the larger crescent shape towards the center of town, since I figured that would look really nice, on a map or something like that, like it just looked nice. We call it Big Oxbow and then Little Oxbow. It sounds like a rapper name, Little Oxbow. Anyways, so I added in some nice power lines, again, because I do not want any sort of overground power line at all on any street. Every street will have an overground power line, unless we reach a super modern city, which I don't think I'm ever going to do, unless they add an asset pack so I can actually edit it. So then, moving on into... This is just me moving around the town, and then this is me creating a custom elementary school. I decided to use Anarchy to sort of mesh it into one building so it looked like one unit. I tried to delete some of the walkable things. Also, credit to City Planner Plays for this, because he was one that did this in his latest episode of Magnolia County, and I was like, whoa, that looks cool. And then I realized that you could actually do that. He didn't use any mods, he just used Anarchy. So I guess he did use mods, but hey, here I am, doing the same thing. And then I tried to make some parking lots, stuff for staff in case you need to pick up your kids, just areas. But I realized this wasn't really a high school, so it's not like it would be necessary for me to to add in a large parking lot. Matter of fact, I don't even think I added in a parking lot because it just really isn't necessary, at least for the moment being. It's not super necessary. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I ended up I got rid of it right there. And then I added in a nice small or large playground, and I wanted this to look like one giant building, so I sent it over here, and then I tried to create some sort of custom path. I realized that it looked like poopy, so then I just made a nice square path using the gray tiles, because I figured that would look just a teensy bit nicer, given the fact that, this whole build was about detail. So I wanted to make sure that it actually looked presentable and that every crevice that you zoomed in on would be left completely touched, smothered even. And then I added in some nice trimmed grass, and again, making sure that it looked like a nice building. And it looked like one building. I even added in some invisible pedestrian paths, so the paths are usable, and you're gonna see it. Boop, there you go. You can see people walking down the paths, and that is exactly what I wanted, because now I'm able to essentially create my own parks this way. And I guess I kind of did that in this episode. Again, just kind of let me know if there's anything that I should add. Again, the comment section is a free place, my friends, so please feel free. I added a little bit of a cul-de-sac because my town in real life, my elementary school has that. And I figured that it's more efficient because, right, if you're a car and you're driving, you pick up your kids, you won't have to do a full U-turn just to go back. You just follow the roundabout and you end up back in the town. And also won't, clog up traffic because then you're going to have to go into a main arterial, and that's kind of what I was trying to prevent here. So that a lot of this, like just adding in the basic 3x3 and then 2x3 homes, which is going to become a standard in the town. Originally, I was going to create sort of a large commercial area right here, but then I realized that it kind of looked sucky. So then I added in some pedestrian paths to break it up a little bit, and then you're going to see right here the London Plains. My favorite, my babies. I love the London Plains. If City Skylines 2, if Colossal Hoarder ever got rid of the London Plains, you know that I'd be the first to uninstall the game. I love the London Plains so much. They are beautiful, beautiful trees. And then here was me, again, just adding in a small parking lot, and then a random van appears. I don't know what that was about. I was gonna add in like a tennis court or something like that, but I realized, again, this isn't a high school, so it's like, this is for a bunch of little kids, So I wanted to make it look homey, make it look roomy, make it look nostalgic, all sorts of things. And then this was when I realized that my cursor going crazy because I realized that, oh god, no wonder why everybody's complaining and unhappy. It's because my firehouse burnt down because I dismantled the fire station from the beginning of the episode. I even added in this little fire watch tower. I think I might expand upon it later with some dirt roads. Just let me know what you guys think, but that was kind of like what my rendition was going to be. A bunch of fire watch towers at the top of the hill. I always thought that that looked really, really beautiful. And then I imported some city services, again, because I'm working off of unlimited money. So I figured that, you know, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if I used unlimited money anyways. So, you know, I'm not too concerned about that. And then here was me going around just adding in, again, the power lines because I added in a lot of roads and I completely forgot. I've been neglecting it this whole time. And I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot. And then somebody tell me in the comments, how exactly am I supposed to plant trees in between all these houses? I know I could use anarchy or something like that, but I was like, I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea because it clips through the houses and then I have to go back and I delete all the houses. I mean, if that's how I have to do it, then so be it, fine. But, you know, it's whatever. And then I added in a medium density, not a row home, but like a full apartment building. And originally I thought that that was a good idea. And then I saw all the cars flooding in, and I was like, oh no, never mind. You're getting a parking lot, baby. And then I tried to break it up by adding in some parks on the side and stuff like that. But I realized that it didn't even look that good, so I was like, never mind. I did like that little park asset, though. The large city park is by far my favorite park asset in the game. It really is. I love it. And then I just added in, again, some more commercial because small town America. Here was me tweaking about the one commercial building that wasn't facing the right way, and then I gave up, and I was like, okay, it won't switch. If I use plop the growables, it'll switch, but I didn't feel like doing that, and then I just let the houses build in, and then I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is when I went in. This was my second method of trying to fill in the houses with trees. But then I realized that it looked dystopian. Like, it looked like, hey neighbor, how are you? Type stuff. And I was like, I'd rather have a picket fence right there. And then, see, this is when I went in with anarchy and I tried to make it look fuller, but then it looked even less full because I was like, ah, shoot, well, just clipping, half of the trees I just planted is clipping through a house, so I can't even place any of them. So, and that got me decently upset. So yeah, overall, this was the entire build. This was all that I did. I added in a brand new elementary school, a brand new church area, all custom built using, I think, about 87 mods. I'm pretty sure in this video I used about half of them. But yeah, guys, this was basically like the entire game. Was just me placing, building, expanding, and overall just making sure that everything was functional and everything looked nice. Because the next episode, guys, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be big, it's going to be good, and it also won't be a time lapse. I swear, I promise it won't be a time lapse. And if it is, then may lightning strike me dead. And I'm not even joking about this. Now you're actually going to see, and originally I was going to create a cool transition right here, right? You can see it into the end of the video. And then I realized the road builder mod had something really cool. You go into the parking assets, this is just a small bit, experimenting with it, watch this. You guys are about to look at that. My live reaction to that, I literally just said, holy crap. Like, I was like yelling. I was like, what? And then I realized this is the new wave. This is the new stuff, right? Like, this is how it is now. We can just have parking on the side of the road. And I was like, I immediately placed all of this down. Every one of it. I removed all the trees, again, because I remember at the beginning I said it was one with nature, but it's whatever. But yeah, this was Sonder County, everybody. This was the town of Oxbow. I really hope that you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. The video has now ended, but I did want to sort of leave a message to you guys. Please let me know if anything's wrong with the video. That's the only thing I'm really asking you guys.